What's up everybody, it's your shot Buie. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button as I upload videos on a weekly basis covering the hottest topics in sports, especially if it is OU related. This is Ballin' with Buie. March Madness is upon us, so today I want to talk about the 64 team field, who's winners, who's losers, who might make a run. I'm not going to give all my bracketology yet. I'm going to give that day by day, but let's just warm up to it. So let's dive on in. Number 1 seed overall in the tournament's Gonzaga. No surprise, they weren't undefeated on the year. Never really had any tough games, no competition. They look solid all year long. But then you get to the 8-9 seed in the West region where Gonzaga is placed, and it's Oklahoma versus Missouri. Two teams who looked really good about 2-3 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden just completely fell off. Oklahoma, I don't know what has happened to them. They went from about a 3-4 seed range. That's about where they were sitting at about 2-3 weeks ago. They dropped all the way to an 8. They were looking like one of the hottest teams in college basketball, and now they are one of the coldest teams in college basketball. And Missouri is kind of in the same boat. They looked very hot. They climbed really high in the AP poll, and then all of a sudden things just didn't look too good. So I don't know who's going to win that game. I don't know if Oklahoma can pull it out or not. I don't know if Mizzou can pull it out or not. I think it probably will be a good game between the 8-9 seed, but the winner will go on to play Gonzaga, more than likely, who will probably run the table against them. Moving on in the West, you got Creighton at the 5 slot and Virginia at the 4, and Virginia is going to be real susceptible to an upset because they're going to be battling COVID, and they're not going to be able to practice like they should be able to due to those issues. So we'll see if they're able to make things happen, if they're able to still pull out the victory. They're playing 13th seed Ohio, so it's not too tough competition, but the NCAA tournament, everyone knows anything can happen. That's why I love this time of year. Probably my second favorite time of the year. We all know college football is everyone's favorite time of year, no debate. Moving on in the West region, got USC at the 6 slot. Kansas ended up getting a 3 seed. Oregon at 7 versus 10 VCU, and then you got Iowa down at the 2. Iowa has looked really good as of late. They weren't able to win the Big Ten tournament, but the past couple weeks, they've looked fairly strong. With Garza, he's a top player in the country, so I think they're going to be able to make a run at it. Moving on down to the same side of the bracket in the East, got Michigan was able to get a 1 seed, and then LSU is at the 8. LSU has kind of looked wishy-washy the past couple weeks. You got Colorado at 5, and they're playing Georgetown at the 12. And Georgetown was able to win their conference championship. Even though they didn't look too good throughout the entirety of the season, they were able to win their conference championship. So they are on a roll, and they're going into the tournament hot, which obviously you want to go into the tournament hot. So I think that is a game that you want to mark. You got Florida State at 4, BYU at 6. They're going to play either Michigan State or UCLA. Michigan State was able to sneak into the tourney for the play-in game against UCLA, which is crazy. We're going to have Michigan State and UCLA for a play-in game. Never thought I would ever be saying that. Never thought that would ever happen. Moving on down the bracket, you got Texas. They were able to secure a 3 seed after winning the Big 12 championship. I never really hit on the Big 12 championship, but Texas, they were able to beat Texas Tech, who I thought Texas Tech was going to win that game, and then they ended up advancing due to Kansas not being able to play, and then ended up beating OSU for the title. Got UConn at 7, Bama at 2. Bama, people think Bama is going to also make a run at it at the 2 spot. I don't know if they will. Bama is a really good basketball team, but I don't think their draw was very good. When you look at it, if they're able to advance past the round of 64 and then the pass around of 32, they're more than likely going to be playing Texas, and I don't think that's a good matchup for them. I think Texas has the upper hand in that game. And then also Florida State. I think Florida State is kind of a dark horse in this tourney. I think they got a very good draw. Michigan has not been looking too great as of late. Like I said, the past couple weeks, or a couple weeks ago, they were looking like one of the best teams in the country, and then they kind of fell off a little bit. They're still a great basketball team, but they aren't as hot as they were. Hopping back up to the West region and looking at the draws, Gonzaga, I think, got a very favorable draw. If they are able to win out and say Iowa's able to win out, I think Iowa-Gonzaga could be a very good game. Don't know if Iowa can hang with Gonzaga. Gonzaga is just very good. And say Iowa loses, you got Kansas in the bracket. I think Gonzaga's got a very easy path to the Elite Eight, and kind of a fairly easy path to the Final Four, honestly. Let's hop on over to the South region. We got Baylor. They're able to secure second overall #1 seed. No surprise there. And we got North Carolina, Wisconsin at 8 and 9. I don't think Baylor's going to have too much trouble in those first two games, regardless of who they're playing. That's just me personally. Then you got Villanova at the 5. And Villanova is kind of in Virginia's spot. Not exactly in Virginia's spot, but they lost their star player. Also dealing with a little bit of COVID-related issues. Yeah, I think that's also a game that you wanna keep your eyes open for an upset. And then moving on down, you got Purdue at the 4, 6 is Texas Tech, Arkansas at the 3, Florida at 7 against 10 Virginia Tech, and Ohio State at the 2. Ohio State wasn't able to win the Big 12 championship, but they played it tough. They played Illinois all the way to OT. They looked very good several weeks ago, and then they lost a couple games to very good basketball teams, and now they've kind of picked it up, and I think Ohio State is going to be able to make a run. All the 2 seeds, people I think are really liking. I don't know if they think they can beat the 1 seeds in the Elite Eight or the Final Four to make it all the way, but we'll see. I think Baylor has a fairly good path to the Elite Eight. I think Ohio State has a fairly good path to the Elite Eight also. I think that'll be a very good game if that happens, Baylor versus Ohio State. I don't know who would win, not going to say, because I don't want to talk too much about my bracket yet. Moving on down to the Midwest region, Illinois is able to secure #1 seed, just won the Big 10 championship, excuse me. And then you got Tennessee at the 5, and Oklahoma State at the 4. Oklahoma State should have been higher than a 4 seed. You're telling me that they beat Oklahoma twice, and then they beat West Virginia twice, once without Cade Cunningham, and then they upset Baylor, who you have ranked as the second best team in the country heading into the tournament, and they lose in the Big 12 championship, obviously, but they're only a 4 seed. They should, I think, easily be a 3 seed. Maybe, I don't think they would have made it a 2 seed, but they just didn't get a very good draw. I don't think Oklahoma State got a good draw, and West Virginia is a 3 seed, and that doesn't make any sense to me. They're both in the Midwest region. West Virginia got a 3 seed over Oklahoma State with a 4 seed. Don't know where the committee came up with well, not the committee, it's college football, but I don't know how they came up with that. Oklahoma State should be a 3 seed, in my opinion. But moving on. Also, I think Oklahoma State, even with the draw that they got, I think that they're going to be able to make some noise. I think it'll be a very interesting matchup if it's able to play out, if Illinois can play Oklahoma State. I mean, Cade Cunningham, this is what you want. Your potential #1 draft pick. This is where you make a name for yourself and you make some noise in NCAA tournaments where it's at. But now moving on, Syracuse is taking on San Diego State. Syracuse got an 11 seed. It's kind of weird to see Syracuse with an 11 seed, but they were able to slip in, see if they're able to pull off an upset. And you got Houston was able to get the 2 seed, and like I said, West Virginia with the 3. It's going to be a very good tournament like always. It doesn't matter if the Blue Bloods are in it or not. I think it's going to be a good tournament. I can't wait. It's a good time of the year. If you don't watch basketball all year, then you should watch it for these next 2 to 3 weeks or however long it is. But I'm excited. Even the play-in games. You got Michigan State and UCLA for a freaking play-in game. That's insane. But like always, that's all I got. Catch y'all later. Deuces.